And here we have a demonstration of our Foundry-In-A-Box molding and casting procedure. We have a vat of molten tin, and we're going to place into it a tin pig, and that will show you how quickly and rapidly the tin melts. It's pretty hot. It pulls it in quite quickly. And what we're going to do first is take our pattern plate. The pattern plate accumulates dirt and cracks and crevices, so you want to dust it clean. Put it into the plate holder, or a follow board as we might call it. And then you're going to take your pattern for your sprue, put it in place. Now you take the flask. Now the flask has to be held firmly and not move around any while it's in position. So we'll take a double handful of sand and just drop it in there. Now you want to hold the flask with one hand so it doesn't wiggle around, and poke with the other finger. You want to poke straight down. You want to push until the sand stops moving, and that's enough compaction, just as long as you push every square inch inside the flask and push till it stops moving. High school students can often push too hard, and that ruins it because the sand actually flows out under the flask. Second graders, if they poke about as hard as they can, that comes out just about right. So it's not hard, anyone can do it. Once you've packed the first layer, then you simply put the second layer in and press firmly. You don't need to go back and pack it any more firmly than just this. Now, the center pattern for the sprue is just removed, and then we'll take a straight edge and just trim off the excess material. Now you can hold this flask by the sides and carry it over to the pouring area, and we let the students do this. If you pick it up, it's a good idea to brush off the edges so we don't lose this valuable sand. This sand is zirconium silicate bonded with mineral oil. It costs about $3 a pound, so we don't like to lose any of it. And the students can hold it by the edges. If they pack it firmly, it will carry just fine over to the molding or to the casting area. Now we'll take it and set it firmly onto the ceramic tile. The tile forms the bottom of the mold. We'll put a weight on it to try to keep it from leaking. And now we'll take the metal and we will pour it in the flask. And so that's been poured. Actually, I poured it a little bit over. And once you've poured it now, the weight can come off because it didn't leak and it's already frozen against the ceramic tile. So this metal you have on top, this may take a little longer to solidify. One thing you can show the students while you're waiting on it to solidify is that you can play with it while it's freezing and actually move it around a little bit. If you do get a leak or runs out onto the tile or onto the table, that leak can freeze rather quickly on this metal plate. You can move it around while it's freezing. That's fun to demonstrate for the students. So this is about, see how it's solid on the edges, but liquid in the center. Now the castings are already solid, so we just have to wait a few seconds for this to finish solidifying. You see now it's almost solid where I can move it. And once this is solid up here, pretty much everything underneath is done. And that can be picked up right at transitioning between solid and liquid, sort of a mushy stage, and we put it back in the furnace. Now we should be solid there. You see how we're solid? Now we can pick it up. This is the mold. It shakes out quite easily. Then you can reuse the flask for the next casting. And this is what, of course, the students are interested in seeing. This is the castings, and they tend to stick to the ceramic, and you can brush them off there to make them look pretty. You see how good a detail you have. You can read all the letters on the coins, and if you grab that firmly and pull it off, you've got your castings. Now the next step is to punch a hole in it so that it can go on a necklace. So you let the student choose which one of these castings they want. Let's say they want these wings. Now, it has a hole, but we're going to punch it a little bit better. And then we'll take tin snips. Now these are still quite hot, and we cut it off. Now we have a casting that's ready to go on a string, and the student can wear it home. The leftover metal we're going to turn into pigs. So this is a pig mold. It's just an aluminum plate that's made for casting cornbread. And so instead of cornbread dough, we're going to pour our leftover excess metal in it. We'll let it freeze, and then we can use it for the next demonstration. And that's how we do Foundry in a Box.